What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm back with another beat video for you guys. I know it's been a little while since I dropped one of these, but I'm back in it. Let's get right to it. So for the past week, I've had the album Before You Go by Blxst on repeat. Like, the album is crazy. It's a melodic rap R&B fusion type of album. That's just what's been stuck in my head, so I figured I might as well make a beat that's in that same vein. So the first thing I did was start off with the melody. The specific song I've been listening to the most from the album is Couldn't Wait For It. Now, as I've been running it back, to me, it seems like it's a very simple chord progression, nothing too complex, but it's still very soulful and luscious and just beautiful. So that's what I started with, was a simple chord progression. So I opened up an instance of Addictive Keys and just laid down a very simple, basic chord progression with their very first piano preset that I came across. This is what it came up to be. It's a very simple chord progression. It repeats for a whole 4-bar loop, nothing too crazy. All I did was I strummed it to give it a more realistic feel, and then I added these bass notes, and it's all the same bass note throughout the whole chord progression, so nothing crazy. For the effects, I added an EQ where I rolled out a lot of the high end and the low end. I added the effect rack VST where I put on the large, I can't even say this word. I put on the large, lush verb sound that gives it a real ambient, spacey sound to it. Added on the fruity delay just a little bit, turned down the wet. Adding on the retro 20 color, because you know I love the vinyl crackle. Just left it on the vinyl 1 preset, turned down the noise, turned down the wobble, turned down the distortion. Threw another EQ to take out some of the mid because it was still kind of piercing through a little bit and I didn't like that. And all together, it sounds like this. Sounds a whole lot more vibey and luscious than what it was before. The very next sound I used was a Darkstar acoustic guitar from an FL stock plugin called Blxst. It has an Essential Guitars bank that's pretty solid, so I advise anybody who doesn't use Blxst to give it a try, because a lot of these sounds are free if you have FL Studio, so just try it out and tinker with it. You won't be disappointed. I just came up with another simple top melody to go along with the piano. Very simple, but beautiful at the same time. For the effects, I had a EQ to roll out a lot of low end and the high end. Put an effect rack, put on the original Crystals guitar set to give it like a little bit of delay and make it sound like it's sparkling, if that makes sense. Added a chorus, added flangus. I was just kind of playing around with sounds, just trying to make it spacey and vibey, more ambient. And then add the Pancake 2 VST. If you don't got Pancake 2, I highly suggest you get it. I got it for free if I'm not mistaken. But it gives the sound a whole lot more movement. Instead of just one steady tone, it goes from one side to the next in your speakers. The next thing I did was open up Addictive Keys again and just add on an electric piano just to give it a top melody to go over top of everything else, to make it sound a little bit more beautiful, to make it sound like it's starry or twinkling. I don't even know how to describe it, but that's how it made me feel. So this is what I came up with. Beautiful. And for the effects, I also added on the effect rack VST and added the same large, lush verb preset sound. And this is what it sounds with it. It's not even playing. Now this is what it sounds with it. That's beautiful. Can't no one tell me otherwise. The next thing I did was added a bass, another simple pattern. Don't get much simpler than that. For the effects, I added the EQ to a lot of the high end and some of the low end. I also added a little bit of distortion with the FL Studio stock plugin Destructor. Just really kind of left all of the presets the same, the basic presets the same. Didn't do much to it. And this is what it sounds like. Makes it sound a whole lot fatter. The next thing I did was I added my drums and my perks. Because I wanted the drums to be very bouncy and groovy, I turned up the swing knob up 22%, and then for the hi-hats, every other note, I just played with the velocity and took it down. And then I also added in some hi-hat rolls by just highlighting Alt-U. It opens up the chopper window, and then you can just play around with this knob however you want the note to be rolled. Definitely a vibey beat, definitely gives me a West Coast vibe, and after listening to that album, it definitely sounds like a beat that he would fit on. Something extra I did to give this beat a little bit more sauce and a little bit more flavor is I rendered out a small portion of the beat without the bass. I reversed it, I chopped it up, and then I put it in the beginning just to give it the intro of the beat. And then for that, I also put it on the radio preset for the EQ just to give it a filtered sound. And this is what it sounds like. All right. And that is it for this beat, y'all. If you vibe with this, like this, give me a comment down below. Also, like and subscribe. It would help me a lot. And if you got any artists that you want me to check out, also leave that down below. I would love to hear those recommendations. If nothing else, I'm out. Peace.